Energy in Kenya describes energy and electricity production, consumption, import and export in Kenya. Kenya's current effective installed electricity capacity is 2,177.1 megawatts as at March 2015. Electricity supply is predominantly sourced from hydro and fossil fuel sources. Just until recently, the country lacked significant domestic reserves of fossil fuel. The country has over the years had to import substantial amounts of crude oil and natural gas. This might change with the discovery of oil reserves in Kenya, which relied on oil imports to meet about 42% of its energy needs in 2010. As of the end of July 2015, 47% of Kenyans were connected to the national grid, which is one of the highest connection rates in sub-Saharan Africa. Per capita consumption in domestic households, however, remains low. Kenya Power Electricity. Sources of electricity * Energy Regulatory Commission. Source: Renewable energy. Kenya is currently the largest producer of geothermal energy in Africa. It is one of two countries in Africa that produce geothermal energy, the other being Ethiopia. In 2010, geothermal accounted for almost 20% of Kenya's total electricity generation. The country has the potential to produce 10,000 megawatts of geothermal-powered electricity, according to Kenya's state-owned Geothermal Development Company. Total renewable energy capacity is at 60%, with most of that coming from hydropower. Hydroelectric power utilities. In Kenya, there are plans by the government to end the monopoly of the electricity distribution market, but until that happens, power distribution is only held by one company, Kenya Power. However, power generation is done by main company, Kenya Electricity Generating Company. Independent power producers. Westmont, a Bear Africa or Power 4 subsidiary of Ormat Technologies, Avo Power Company. Aggreko Africa Geothermal International. Petroleum imports. Kenya has one of the largest crude oil refineries in East Africa, the 90,000 barrels per day Mombasa refinery. The refinery typically operates below capacity and processes Murban heavy crude from Abu Dhabi and other heavy Middle Eastern crude grades. In 2011, Kenya imported about 33,000 barrels of crude oil entirely from the United Arab Emirates, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. Kenya imported 51,000 barrels of refined oil products in 2011, according to KNBS. Kenya has a product pipeline system that transports petroleum products from Mombasa to inland areas. Most of the imported and/or domestically refined products are sold in Kenya's major cities, and the remainder is sent to neighboring countries via trucks. In 2011, Kenya consumed around 81,000 barrels of oil products. Reserves. In mid-2012, oil was discovered in Kenya. This came after a long time of disappointing exploration activities in Kenya. The reserves became commercially viable after it was confirmed that there were around 300 million barrels worth of reserves. As of January 2014, Tullow said Kenya's northern basin could have an excess of 1 billion barrels of oil. Kenya's deposits may top 10 billion barrels. Production. If the Kenya-Uganda pipeline was connected, it could pipe 500,000 barrels of oil per day. Kenya could envisage exporting oil as early as 2016. Challenges. Fuel wood demand in the country is 3.5 million tons per year, while its supply is 1.5 million tons per year. The massive deficit in fuelwood supply has led to high rates of deforestation in both exotic and indigenous vegetation, resulting in adverse environmental effects such as desertification, land degradation, droughts and famine. Future. Future sources of electricity capacity * Kenya electricity sector. Source: projected capacity 2031 * International Atomic Energy Agency. Source: Eastern Africa Power Pool. 7 countries came together because they saw mutual benefit in having one power pool. They were Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Sudan. However, more countries were included: Tanzania, Libya, Djibouti, Uganda. The objective of the Eastern Africa Power Pool is to increase the volume and reduce the cost of electricity supply in Kenya, and to provide revenues to Ethiopia through the export of electricity from Ethiopia to Kenya. In the first phase, the Kenyan grid is connected to the Ethiopian grid. Kenya also plans to be connected to the South African grid by 2015 through Tanzania, which is also part of geothermal power. Geothermal power plants, which convert steam generated from hot rocks deep underground into electricity, have a prominent place in Kenya's overarching development plans. These include the Vision 2030, the NCCAP, and the current 5,000+ MW in 40 months initiative. Geothermal power has the potential to provide reliable, cost-competitive baseload power with a small carbon footprint, and reduces vulnerability to climate by diversifying power supply away from hydropower, which currently provides the majority of Kenya's electricity. Kenya has set out ambitious targets for geothermal energy. It aims to expand its geothermal power production capacity to 5,000 MW by 2030, with a medium-term target of installing 1,887 MW by 2017. As of October 2014, Kenya has an installed geothermal capacity of approximately 340 MW. Although there is significant political will and ambition, reaching these ambitions is a major challenge. Kenya Electricity Generating Company and Geothermal Development Company aim at raising the country's geothermal output from the current 593 MW to 1 GW by the year 2018 and 5 GW of the grid by 2030. Nuclear power. In September 2010, former Energy and Petroleum Ministry PS Patrick Nyawiki announced that Kenya aims to build a 1,000 MW nuclear power plant between 2017 to 2022. For Kenya to achieve middle-income status, nuclear energy has been determined to be the best way to produce safe, clean, reliable and baseload electricity. The projected cost using South Korean technology is $3.5 billion. Carbon emissions. Kenya emits 0.3% of the world carbon dioxide, which is about 12.62